Okay, well today's the day. We're going to go ahead and install the engine. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Now we're installing an engine that does not run. Now we've rebuilt it and we've redid everything just for you guys on YouTube so you can see how the process works. But we will not be firing this up. We will not be driving it. We've actually got somebody who's already buying the car as is. We're just putting the engine in so that he has all the parts. So we're going to film it the best that we can. It's really tight right behind the firewall here, so hopefully you can see real well. We've cleaned everything up so that you can see all the parts. We're good videoing. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll see you on the inside. Alright, well first thing we've done, we've installed the belt. It's a little easier to put the belt on, then we just kind of wrapped it around the bracket. Now the engine bay is just sitting here accepting, ready to accept our new engine. We've got to still move the power steering, the AC pump. We're going to kind of remove some of the wires out of the way so that we can get things down in position. So we're going to go ahead and set you guys on a tripod and just lower this bad boy in. Alright, so we jacked up the transmission a little bit. Basically kind of tilted it back so that maybe we can get it in without taking all these accessories off.
Is there room on that side? That's hitting down there.
Yeah, maybe.
Like that,
I mean, it's just
metal bracket right there is hitting. See this guy right here? This black thing? It's hitting it. So like, if we get that in, we
could probably take that off.
Can it go? That might work.
So that's really what's kind of.
Do you want to just take this black thing off?
All right, what we decided is we're going to take off the crankshaft pulley because we can access that from underneath where the tire is, and also this motor mount. That'll give us just enough clearance, I think, so that we can get the transmission housing lined up. So we're going to do that now. All right, this is 22 millimeter. And it should just kind of wiggle itself off.
You have the belt on.
Yeah, I know.
So you're not
Yeah, just push the tensioner back. Okay, let's get this off. So what we did, we removed the pulley off the crankshaft and the lower motor mount, and I think that's going to help us get it into position. So we're going to go ahead and try second attempt. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to remove that intake manifold. There's just no way to do it with that on. Okay, we're going to have to remove the intake manifold. It's not that tough to get off, but it is kind of hard to get it back on. So we have 9, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 13 millimeter bolts, and then that whole assembly will come off. We'll do that now. All right, so I've removed this bracket here that holds in the bottom of the intake manifold, the 13 millimeter bolts, and it should just slide right off. Hopefully my power steering pump's not in the way, which looks like it is. So it looks like we're going to need to remove the power steering pump as well. Alright, so to remove the power steering pump, we have one bolt right here, one here, and one here. We're going to remove those now. Okay, so now what we've had to remove from a complete engine, we had to remove the pulley here for the crank. We have had to remove the motor mount, and now the intake manifold. But I think that's all we need to remove to get it back inside the car. So let's go ahead and try third attempt. You ready? Okay, we found that we needed to put the engine more on a tilt like this so we can get it inside the transmission. So I repositioned the hook right here. Instead of it being up here, it's down here. And I repositioned this to give us kind of a better angle. So we're going to try it again for the fourth time. 4 times. Okay, so we're just going to try to play with this a little bit. We've got a different angle on it. We might have to pull the alternator. Looks like it's still kind of hanging up. All right, we worked it out. Took a little bit of finesse. We got it lined up. Got a bolt here, and there's another bolt down here. And there is one more right here that connects the bell housing to the transmission. But it did take a little bit of finesse. We were able to keep the water pump pulley on, the idle pulley, the tensioner, and the alternator. Was kind of a tight fit, but we did get it into position. Now we're just going to zip these down and start tightening everything up. All the gear that's on the back side of the engine, here's the firewall, here's the engine. We've got the alternator, the starter, the wires are connected between there. We've also got this little tube that connects to the purge solenoid that actually connects right here to the firewall. This one here connects up to the top of the throttle body. This is to the purge off valve. So then we're going to connect all this hardware. So we're going to bring the wires from over there over to this side. Then we're going to connect all this gear up. And once that's done, then we're going to put on the intake manifold, and then we'll hook all those components up on the intake manifold. Then we'll move on to another side. All right, so now I've found the wires that are going to come up through this side, this area over here. And so I'm just going to kind of position them into place. And I'm going to get on the other side and hook everything up. Now these set of wires right here come up to the top of the throttle body. So I'm just going to kind of set those out of the way. That's why it's really important to label everything. That way you know how to put it back together when you're at this stage. So now I've kind of got everything fit into position. I know this comes up to the top of the fuel injection, mass airflow sensor, all this stuff comes up this way. So then we can connect the battery wire. We can connect all of these sensors down here on the block, connect all the alternators, so I'm going to do that now. Alright, so this one right here is for the purge solenoid, which connects right there. Then you have 2 grounds, and those grounds will actually connect right here on that bolt that holds the purge solenoid in. Then we have our 2 sensors, our NOx sensor and our oil pressure sending unit. And then we will just connect those up. Let me get my wires labels untangled. So this one goes to the starter. So that's going to go right here. Then we have our oil pressure switch, or oil pressure sending unit, whatever you want to call it. These ones will all go up to the top. I can actually probably get those just out of the way there like that. So then I'm going to connect, this is our NOx sensor, right here. That's the NOx sensor. Then this one right here is our oil pressure switch. So hopefully you guys can see that up there. Now these labels are a little bit big, a little bit cumbersome, but at least we know where everything's positioned and it's supposed to go. So there's our oil pressure switch. And it only goes on one way, so you have to just kind of get it in the right position. There's that one. Then this one right here. And actually it makes a big difference to have that labeled. That's our crank sensor. And this one here goes to our alternator. Alright, so the alternator actually comes in from the top. And these are the batch of wires that come up through the top of the throttle body. I will just kind of position those out of the way. Just make sure that everything is connected up. Now this one right here connects to the starter, so I will connect that one up. Then there is one more wire that connects to the starter, which is the purple wire. Connect up the battery wire first. One goes that way, that goes over to the alternator. It looks like all the connections to the back of the block. Now I think what I'm going to actually do next is down here, you might not be able to see it from up there, but down here there are 3 bolts that connect the steering rack to the block. So I'm going to connect those up now because that's the lowest point that I can see. And then I'm going to connect up these ground wires right here to the block. And I will also connect the purple starter wire right here to the top of the starter right here. Okay, so I'm pretty much hooked up everything down here. The only thing that I found that this is actually the ground wire that connects here. It does not connect to this bolt. It connects here to this 8mm purge solenoid. We got our knock sensor, or our crank positioning sensor hooked up. We've got our knock sensor here, our oil pressure switch here. Our starter is hooked up, or our alternator is hooked up to the starter. Then you have off the bottom of the purge solenoid, goes over here to the firewall. That's connected up, and you got alternator wire here connected up. So, and then I also connected the bottom bracket that holds the power steering rack in to the block. That's connected. Now these wires up here are going to come up to the top of the injectors, and then this is the sensor up here that connects in here somewhere. And then we also have a tube here for the heater core that connects to the bottom of the intake manifold. So now our next step looks like we're going to go ahead and remove, we're going to go ahead and replace the intake manifold, get it in position, lock it down, and then put the wires on. Now that we got the intake manifold installed, I just basically run those wires up through the top. This green one right here connects right to the top of this one. Actually, the clip looks like it's broke off, so that connects there. And then I will just route the injectors the way that they need to be connected to the wiring. It can only really go one way. And you can rotate the injectors just a little bit if you need to, but they pretty much will just fall right into place. We're going to tighten down the bolts to the intake manifold to the head. Then we're going to install the power steering pump next.